yeah, if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, WendyY Bailey.
Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. Yes, I'm WendyY Bailey, and I'm excited to bring you another amazing guest. Let me tell you a little bit about my guest, and then we will get into our conversation. Morgana Rae is an international #1 best-selling author. Her book entitled Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation. And she is a 7-figure spiritual mentor coach for more than 28 years. There's a whole lot we're going to talk about today. So welcome, Morgana.
Oh, very happy to be here, WendyY.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. So tell me a little bit about your philosophy about money, because we talked a little bit about that before we got started. So what's your personal philosophy about money?
Well, the reason that I like to work with relationship with money as what I call a pain door, and quick sidebar here, for every one of you who is agonizing over this monstrosity called picking your niche, it's not all you do. It's not supposed to be all you do. The way it's taught is like, chopping off all your limbs and keeping one finger, and that's horrible. All your niches is your pain door. So my pain door, not intentionally, at a certain point, yes, I chose this, but I ended up through some big cosmic joke with this pain door of money. And I stuck with it because I find that money is the perfect metaphor and mirror to all the deep, juicy things that we struggle with as human beings. All of our issues around love, safety, worth, and power. And honestly, 28 years now, money is still the #1 excuse that human beings give for what we can't have, do, or be. So yes, my clients make a lot of money. And I just got a phone call last week from a client from my most recent Money Goddess retreat. So, it is spring 2022 right now. September 2021, she went on my 1-week retreat, and she called me up last week and she made $1.2 million.
Wow, what a shift.
So, and she asked to be my assistant on my next retreat. So like everybody can ask her about that. The reason I say that is because everything that I'm going to be talking about is not going to be about money. So it can sound
connected is your point. Whether it's specifically head on talking about money is still an undercurrent for everything that you do and every bit of work that
money is a symptom. Mm-hmm. And it's measurable, and the money results are good for my marketing. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm a relationship with money coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I have results that can make that. I can say that with integrity, because sure. I do think that the money monster is not just a personal thing. It is threatening our very survival on this planet.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. When did you know that was the pain door, as you call it? When did you recognize that money was the pain door and the relationship with money was where you wanted to really focus your efforts? What was it that helped you see it first?
It was my own spectacular Technicolor failure. Mm. Every class on business, every class on marketing. And I'm a good student. Even when I had a catastrophic car accident, coma, head injury, and homeless and unable to remember things, I still graduated as a National Merit Scholar from high school, went to a top college. I know how to be a student. So I would take every class on marketing and selling and, taglines and all that, and 6 coaching certifications. And I was making $100 a month living in Los Angeles and still flying out of town to get another certification, thinking that that would fix it, and working with a coach. Crazy, just living on debt.
Mhm.
And I hit my dark night of the soul. I think I'd been in a dark night for a long time, but I kept chasing that. Oh, if I just mastered this skill, if only this will unlock it all. And I took a class on overcoming sales objections. That was my Hail Mary. And I nailed it. All the things you're supposed to say, I nailed it. And I overcame the sales objections for 7 people. And 7 people did not show up for our first session and did not pay me. And that was when I lost my mind and my hope and my will to live.
Yeah.
I ran out. And I, in 12-step programs, because I grew up with an addict. So, in 12-step programs, they talk about hitting bottom, and I did.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like that was rock bottom.
Oh.
So from your rock bottom, how did you take the first step toward doing what you do today?
Well, there are a couple of interesting things about rock bottom. There's a principle in psychology called enantiodrama, where when any emotion is fully expressed, its opposite appears. So when you fully express your grief or your despair, a little spark of hope wakes up, which is one of the reasons I'm not on the law of attraction train. Although I will say there's a tendency, but we're not here to make bad feelings bad or scary. In fact, I find them incredibly useful. Bad feelings. So I'm in this really dark place and I've cried myself out. And I had 2 thoughts. By the way, this is not the turning point. This is the before the turning point. But I had 2 thoughts. One was, it occurred to me that maybe for me, money needed to be my next area of spiritual growth, just to deal with it, because it was a problem. And there was definitely something going on. And also it was a total cheat because I'm from Southern California and spirituality is like breathing. So I thought maybe if I hide it in the spiritual box, I can handle it. The other idea that came up, which I think was actually really important, was I got curious about what was inside of me that couldn't be with money. Because on paper,
you start thinking of your own relationship with money and why things kept going the way they were for you financially.
I kept doing everything I was supposed to do. I kept doing everything everyone told me to do. Yeah, and damn, it's so infuriating because all these promises are made, do this, get this result, and life doesn't really work that way. And I'm going to tell you why. When you find yourself, and it's not just money, I did it on my relationship with love. I've coached clients on whatever it is, but when you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing and you aren't getting the result that you deserve and you desire and you're working so hard for, it is my experience, and I have coached many thousands of clients, that if we dig deep enough, you're actually not a failure. You're not even a self-saboteur. You're actually unconsciously protecting yourself from what you're pursuing. And it's never an accident. And if we dig, we will find very, very good reasons. And they will not be what you think they are. Because it's the thing behind the thing. So for me, I'm in this horrible, despairing place. And as luck would have it, can't make a living, but I still had a coach. Thank goodness. I probably wouldn't be alive right now without having a coach in that moment. And I had my session with my coach very soon after being in this dark place. It could have been the next day, but I don't remember. And my coach, who for months had been trying to figure out what was going to unlock it for me, what was wrong, why wasn't anything working, had this moment of weirdo inspired brilliance. And he asked me the question that changed my life and set me on the path that I'm on today. And he asked me, Morgana, if your money was a person, who would your money be? And in that moment, because I was in so much pain and I was so ready for change, it just popped up like instantly. And I saw money, in my case, was this big, scary, dirty, violent biker dude, total stranger, fabrication, like white, bald, long sideburns, tattoos. And it's not that that kind of guy is bad. It was that this one was terrifying. And you just hear the language, scary, dirty, violent, bad. And I never, ever knew that I felt that way about money until it was this person. And then everything made sense.
Yeah.
There was,
you were able to define it in a different way and see it in a different way because of the persona, the question of the persona that you saw it as. I bet that was really telling.
Well, we can talk, and a lot of coaches do. We can theorize what my negative beliefs are about money. We can talk about relationship with money for 30 years, and it's not real. It's an abstract concept. But as soon as it becomes a person, that's real to me. That's something I can know. Yeah. I know how to have a relationship with a person. I also knew that there was no way that I could have money in my life if that was money. So I had to get rid of him. You couldn't fix it. He was who he was. There was a reason I'd been pushing him away my whole life and never realized it until that moment. And I knew that I could not have money in my life if it was that guy. He had to go. And that created a new problem because now I live in Los Angeles and I just got rid of my relationship with money, and that was going to last me 30 seconds.
Okay.
So as is often the case, when you solve one problem, you get a new higher quality problem, which now was, okay, I need a relationship with money. Who could I want so much as a person that I'd be willing to have a relationship with this person, even if it's money? Which is really, really important, is putting the love ahead of the cash. The relationship comes first. And so I asked myself that, and I was just, and by the way, I'm like not a good visualizer, but I was in such a heightened state.
All of this, like I'm with you, like totally with you. Yeah.
When the feeling is strong enough, these imaginary entities just sort of pop up ready-made out of your subconscious because you have these relationships anyway, and they show up as whatever you need them to be. So I got rid of the monster. I now call it the money monster. And I invited in, I didn't know I was doing it at the time. It was accidental. I had a problem. I'd gotten rid of my old relationship with money and I needed a new one. So I asked myself that question, who could I want so much? And I saw this tall, dark, handsome, romantic, clean cut, yummy, hunky guy in a tuxedo, all dressed up, carrying a bouquet of red flowers, in love with me, wanting to woo me. And I had two immediate reactions, which were, wow, and money wants to woo me? Because that
new experience for you.
That was a very new experience. And a really important piece is that I also had an awareness of how vulnerable he was. He wasn't some, I am money superhero god. He was like a really handsome, sweet, loving guy who I had been rejecting and breaking his heart for years and years and years without any awareness that I was doing it. And I got such a sense of how much he wanted to be with me and that I had been the gatekeeper the whole time. All those years that I felt so powerless and I was doing everything. And I was the gatekeeper too.
Yeah, that's a huge aha, huge aha.
Yeah.
So how did you turn that awareness for you into how you support your clients? Like when did that turning point happen and you made it your business to help people with their relationship with money?
Two things. First, in my own transformation, since I could feel how much this guy wanted to be with me, and I also was really aware that I had no idea how to allow him to do that, I asked him, what do you need from me so that you can be with me the way you want to? Very useful trick. You ask the right question, you get the answer. And he told me he needed me to love him and to stop treating him like a monster. So what does that look like in real world terms? Well, that meant that next time he would send me a potential client, when they said, how much do you charge? Instead of freaking out with guilt and shame and discomfort, kind of choking my throat and feeling like the energetic space and pushing people away, I would state my fee with that feeling of love. Like, isn't he cute and deserving of respect and admiration and appreciation? And then let the person, the adult, make a decision what is best for them. So the next day, 4 people showed up out of the blue, hired me for double what I'd ever charged. And no, I was not marketing money. The way I made that leap to having this as my niche was the school that I got my certification from, the Coaches Training Institute, sent out a newsletter request for how their students were using relationship coaching innovatively. Because I was one of the very first people to ever take their coactive relationship coach training. I was like the second class that they taught. And so I said, well, I've been doing this because I started trying it out on clients. They weren't hiring me for it, but because they were human, they had money stuff. And in perfect, total transparency, I would try to recreate for them what happened for me and bombed. Like, I didn't cause harm, but it was like, oh, you want your money honey to be a cat? Okay. And that didn't work. And so my clients taught me, oh, the monster has to be really bad. Like, has to be all bad, and it can't be you, and it can't be your parents, and it has, and breaking up may not be enough. Maybe you need to really blow it up in the most violently dramatic, cinematic way possible and leave no bloody bits. And then, why are they having trouble meeting their money honey? Oh, what needs to happen here? And I just started reverse engineering the pieces until I had 6 steps. And then clients were starting to like come back. Oh, I made $10,000 24 hours later. Yay, fun. But what got me on this niche was when I wrote an article about my experience and my process for the Coaches Training Institute newsletter. And the response was like nothing I'd ever experienced in my life. It was just a tsunami of enthusiasm and curiosity. Sure. And I felt at that moment that the universe had just picked me up by the scruff of my neck like a kitten and said, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah, I love it.
My immediate response was, but oh no, universe, I don't want to just do money. I want to do spirit and self-love and blah, 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 and the feedback I got back was, you get to do all of it once they're in the room.
That's what I was going to say. It doesn't mean you leave that behind. It's all part of the same work. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Your story is so engaging and dynamic, Morgana. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of people in this industry who want to cookie cutter their way into helping people with money issues. And I love that you were like, it wasn't a cookie cutter process, but there were certain things that you had to reverse engineer to see what it looked like for your clients that may have looked a little different for you, but it still got them where they needed to be. in terms of their relationship with money. I love that. I really, really do.
And even coaching, every client is wildly different. Like when I did my last retreat, and this was my 10th, I've done 10 of these. It was the first time that one of the clients took 7 hours. And, you know, my philosophy is to keep everything small enough that everybody gets what they need. And it was a tiny group, and each woman was so invested in the success of everybody there, and they're going through the process vicariously, even when they're not on the hot seat. But, you know, this woman over here took 45 minutes. This woman took 7 hours. She's not wrong. The 7 hours woman is not wrong. She's not resistant. It's just what she needed. Everybody is different. You can have a formula. I've got 6 steps. I give them I let everybody know what they are. But the getting there is to we're all coaches, you know this, is we serve the client, not the process. Right. The process is to serve the client.
That's right. That's right. Very, very cool. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to go through our profitable wisdom segment. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. We'll be right back.
Hi, I am Rodney Dow, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I am Dr. Monique, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Michelle PW, and you've tuned into Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, and review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode is live.
Okay, so welcome back. We've been talking with Morgana Rae, and I want to jump into our Profitable Wisdom segment, and you tell such amazing stories, Morgana, so let's just jump in. Who's had the greatest influence on you in your life?
My grandmother, who was born in China, came to the US, I guess, in the early 30s, and she became a dancer. She was one of the pioneers of modern dance. She danced, first she taught ballet to, and then danced with Alvin Ailey. And then she became an artist. So like I have this mug, and you'll see like naked dancer type people. And I've got like paintings of naked dancers and ceramics of naked dancers all over the house. And she's like my spirit animal. When life got too dangerous at my mother's house, I moved to my grandmother's house. And when she died, and she had a great death. She chose a moment when I was there, my aunt was there, my aunt's children were there, my grandfather was there, and we were all holding her, stroking her arms, playing Bach, and telling her that we loved her. So she chose that moment when we were all there. And one of the last things she said before she died was that life is about having experiences. So have lots and lots of experiences. Oh, and she co-created the very first Renaissance Pleasure Fair. So I grew up wearing costumes and pretending that I was in merry old England, and all those fairs that have spun off in other states around the world, they all like sprouted from that first 1960s hippie rebellion against the whole McCarthyist blacklist thing.
Very cool. That's a great influence to have. What's the best business advice you've ever had, you've ever received?
I'm trying to remember the name of the coach, and because I love him and I want to acknowledge him. Rick Tamlin, his website used to be It's All Made Up.com. It's still maybe, I don't know, because that was like, decades ago. But I remember at a Coach Federation meeting, he said something that really unlocked everything for me, because we're all, struggling with, how do I market myself? How do I market coaching? Wrong questions. Pick something that you know about the human condition Pick a message and market that.
Mhm.
So I talk about when you're doing everything right and you aren't getting the results that you deserve and you desire, you are protecting yourself from what you want. And it may be the money monster or the love monster or God monster. I also love to say that change happens at the speed of safety. So I am selling my philosophy, my conviction about life, not me.
Yeah.
It's so much easier.
The way I say it is sell the transformation. Sell the transformation. People want to know how something worked for you. That's the transformation that they also want. Sell the transformation. Yeah, I get it. What's the largest single sale that you've had? What was the amount, the circumstances? And I always like to ask this question, Morgana, because sometimes we don't see possibilities until we hear a possibility that someone else experienced. So that's why I asked that question in particular.
This was a hard one for me because it could go one of three ways.
Okay.
My year-long individual coaching is $60,000, and it's been that for about 10 years. Like my lowest level coaching is $15,000. So we could say it's that.
Okay.
Or I did a telesummit interview that made $93,000 of little $100 sales. Or, and this is fun because I'm going through the process of writing a book proposal right now. So I'm like doing all the number crunching.
Sure.
My book, Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation, has made over $150,000 in sales. So it's sort of like breadcrumbs. You don't go into anything knowing how it's going to affect the rest of the puzzle. So for me, what happened was back in 2012, I knew that I wanted to travel the world with the love of my life, but I just hadn't met him yet. And I thought, I can't continue to have hundreds of clients and stand in line at the post office. Right.
Freedom.
So I digitalized everything that I could except my book at the beginning of the year. And I decided I needed fewer clients. And 2 months into that year, I did that interview that was the $90-something thousand in sales. And every telesummit interview that I did that year made me 10 or 20 or more $1,000. So I was making all this money from digital sales. The $15,000 that I was charging for coaching suddenly didn't fit.
Yeah.
So because of these other sales, my private coaching got more expensive. And the first person who hired me at the time at $50,000, it was just so easy. There was no efforting to it. And suddenly I'm a $50,000 coach. And so it's things just, and then I signed with Bill Gladstone, who's like the biggest book agent for nonfiction and spiritual stuff. So Eckhart Tolle, Marie Kondo, Neil Donald Walsh. And suddenly he's my agent and he wants me to write a book proposal. And I freak out, the thing that I'm doing right now. And so I thought, well, what if I take this little workbook that I've been self-publishing at Office Max? My publisher was Office Max. What if I published it for real and had a book launch and became a best-selling author? Nobody would notice that I'm really procrastinating on the book proposal.
You know what I love about your story? You're like, let me just tell you what was really going on with me. I was procrastinating. I was thinking too small. I wasn't even thinking of possibility of something big enough. And all of this was right there, and fear was standing in my way, and I had to move my way through that. I love how transparent you are. I really do.
The great thing about procrastination and why I have a love affair with procrastination is I can find out what I'm really scared of by how productive I get with the stuff that I used to be scared of.
Yeah.
And so the book launch was one of the greatest times I ever had in my life. And it became $40 a copy, no digital version. It became #1 mover and shaker in the US and 6 countries. So that also, like everything you do, has this ripple effect. So what I would really say is whatever you do, Go into it without attachment. Like, minimize your risk. Don't gamble everything on any one thing, because you never know the thing that you weren't going to do. I wasn't going to do that telesummit. I was already too busy, but there was something about their letter that I liked. And it took my career to another level. They kept using me and we just kept making more sales. I think I wrote them an $80,000 check that year for their affiliate cut.
How about that?
Don't go into anything with the pressure that it's going to be the big thing. Go into everything just kind of with an openness, a curiosity, a willingness to serve, maybe be productive while you avoid that other thing, and just keep saying yes until you come to the point in your career where it's more important to start saying no, which is kind of where I am now, simplifying, letting things go.
Very good. Very good. And what has helped you move through those times when you felt like giving up?
That is a great question. Once about every 10 years, I go through a really dark night of the soul where I'm so disgusted with the coaching industry that I just don't want to be part of it. I don't want to be associated with it. I just want to get out of Dodge. I just don't, there are some people in our industry who make a lot of false promises and cause a lot of harm. And there was that guy who all those people died in his smoke tent.
I know his name. I'm not going to call it.
Yeah, we don't need to. That weekend that was going on, I was having, and because I'm sort of weirdo, freaky, intuitive. So that weekend that was going on, I was having one of those dark nights of the soul, not knowing that was going on, where I just I didn't want to be part of it. What I do when I go into that dark place is I have a conversation with my imaginary money honey, because what I know, and maybe I need to slay a new monster, like I need to make a monster about coaching and everything that I don't want in my life and life experience goes into that monster, and I slay the monster. And now we have a clean plate for a new relationship that is based on love and everything that I value. And now I have a conversation with this new cute guy who is on my team, shares my values. And I'm like, I hate this. And he'll come back and say something like, and that's why you have to keep doing it, so you can be an alternative to the stuff that you don't like.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is, though, sometimes I'm like really frustrated, and I might ask my money honey a question like, what do I need to learn so I can let go of this struggle? Every time those dark nights are portals to your next growth spurt.
Yeah, I love it.
And for me, having this very real but imaginary relationship is my partner, so I don't have to go through it alone. Sure, I have my adorable human honey. We're getting married 100 times in 100 countries. That's another reason why I need a lot of space in my schedule.
Yeah.
But for the business stuff and anything that isn't feeling right in the world, I have a conversation with my money honey and we look at it together.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Last question. What's your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business?
I think recovering from that catastrophic car accident when I was 16. Hit by car in a coma, woke up and went from being a straight A student to not being able to read a page and stay awake. Very slow, grueling, horrible, years-long recovery of not being able to sleep, of being suicidal every single day, of being homeless, sleeping on floors in public places, and graduating from high school and just staying alive.
Wow.
Anybody who's in a
huge accomplishment.
Sometimes I forget how bad it was. But I know so many people are in these terrifying, heartbreaking, lonely, impossible places, and because we're human beings.
Yeah.
And I really want to say these experiences are sacred, and I come down really hard on anybody who tries to shame somebody or positive think you should positive think your way out of it. My biggest thing for anybody who's in a difficult place is sometimes your act of heroism is just to stay alive long enough for it to get better. It will get better.
That. Like I understand exactly.
Yeah.
I do. I totally do. Okay, so we're going to take another break. I could talk to you for hours and hours. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and you'll share your parting thoughts.
Okay.
Be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Victor, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Barbara J. Faison, your mindfulness and meditation ambassador, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Be sure to like, comment, review, and subscribe so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Morgana Rae, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Please like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Okay, so welcome back. We've been talking with financial alchemist. That's what I'm going to call you, Morgana Rae. And if there's one thing, like we talked about a lot, and you've shared some really dynamic information, lots of food for thought, depth in terms of how people can really shift and change their way of being and relationship with money and things about life in general. Is there one thought you'd like for people to walk away with from our conversation, Morgana?
I think for this conversation, my takeaway would be everything is useful. Procrastination is useful. All the things that have ever made you feel unloved, unworthy, unsafe, ashamed, powerless are useful. Put them into your monster. Like, it's all useful. And the more of your experience that you allow yourself, the more powerful you will be in your life and to your clients.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you have a gift for everyone. You want to describe it? We'll put the link in the show notes.
Yes. Well, because I believe we're all on a path together towards a life focused totally on love, on lifestyle, and on legacy. And your circumstances just kind of let us know where you are on that journey. Instead of sending everybody the same thing, what I have is a really easy peasy, pain-free money love quiz. Like, where are you in your relationship with money? And based on how you respond, I will know what to send you for your next step, because I want to get you over into this land of love, lifestyle, and legacy.
Yeah, I love it. Morgana, thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, WendyY.
Yeah. So join us next time for another episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. Be sure to join the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. I'm WendyY. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from WendyY and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.